Since you came to Korea, could you tell the difference between Koreans, Chinese, Japanese? If so, why or how? If not, how or why?
I don't think so. I've not had a lot of interaction with a lot of people who like live here, or even people who are coming in and out of the hotel.
All right.
So it's a bit like I can usually if they're talking, I can kind of hear the differences, but nothing not like visually or anything like that at all. No.
So nothing like appearance-wise, you can't tell the difference, only by how they talk or...
Yeah, mainly just how they talk, not so much appearance-wise. Or sometimes hairstyle, maybe, because I feel like a lot of Korean, especially Korean men, kind of have a similar hairstyle, and they've all kind of got that same look, of, like the same hairstyle going about.
Right.
It's just like a little bit longer, and like in the UK we all get like skin fades and stuff like that, so usually that I can kind of, but not anybody could have that hairstyle, so mainly just I'm talking, I think, is the main thing.
Nice. So you're a civil servant or in that area, so to speak. Is there any discrimination or difference at work about your hobby? Because I heard your hobby is dragging, right?
Yeah.
Could you just tell a little bit about what dragging is and how you got into it, and leading on to, are you more open at work about your hobby?
Sure. So like drag is basically as time's going on, it's becoming more and more broader of a spectrum of like performance art, basically. So anybody can do it, male, female, gender non-conforming, everybody can kind of do it. It's just basically like using makeup, wigs, all different kind of stuff to kind of not change what you look like, and then kind of you go on stage and people can sing, even do comedy or lip syncing, kind of just a whole range of things. So it's quite a broad spectrum of stuff included underneath being doing drag, or being a drag queen, or a drag king, or a club kid, which is somebody who's more like their outfits are more extravagant. They'll have like spikes, and they'll do their makeup all different, like Lee Bowery and stuff like that. It's like a huge spectrum of what it could be, because everybody's is different. It's not like a case that everybody looks the same, because you're still like, it's still you as a person. It's what you produce and what you put out to people. So it is it's a wide thing, basically. And regarding my work's kind of, I work for obviously a government, so it's not like there can't be a lot of discrimination there anyway. I'm quite lucky that I've not had anything from work. All my co-workers, my manager are pretty easygoing. We just kind of vibe with everything. So it's quite lucky. I know not everybody has the same experience, and there's also some people who have different experiences, so I have been genuinely quite lucky in that sense. But yeah.
Do you know anyone who gets discriminated at their work for opening about their dragging?
I think it depends on where you're working. I think I know there's some people who don't say anything, and it's almost just like this sort of whole private life. Like that is what they kind of separate their work and their private life completely. They don't like do anything with people from work and stuff like that. Under the sense of there could be something, somebody might say something or something like that. Usually it's a bit of the older generation, which kind of comes with it, but you're not going to change them. If they're like in their 60s, you just ignore them.
It's too late now, right?
There's no point in trying. You kind of get either one or two reactions when you sort of mention anything about being a drag queen. You either get the people who be like, oh, I watch RuPaul's Drag Race, or something like that. It's like, cool. And then you get other people who just like love the fact of it. like, even when I was out here, my friend thought it was a good idea to tell everybody at this bar we were at that I was a drag queen in Scotland. Very embarrassing. But a lot of them were just like, oh, let's see pictures, like really nice. So you can tell people who are fans of Drag Race, and you can tell people who are fans of drag itself, because RuPaul's Drag Race is just one part of drag. It's not the full world. It's not like, it doesn't explain everything, but obviously it kind of pushes it out there to be more mainstream. Before it was kind of more of an underground thing, or nightclubs and stuff like that, which it still is, but it's just a lot more popularized and more people are going to it, and it's not just like Lily Savage who's always on TV. Like there's like a lot of it's very different.
Because personally, I like dragging. Personally, I like the culture of it as well. When I say I like dragging, or do you like, I like going to dragging concerts and stuff. I'm like, it's art. It's performance arts, like you mentioned. That's why this dragging culture should be more open to the world, and people should actually know about it.
I think past year there's just been such a bad name given for it from people in America. I was like, they're really trying to push this, the LGBTQ plus community are all perverts, pedophiles, all that kind of stuff. They're really pushing that kind of agenda of what they think we are. When I know, for me and a lot of my friends, like, none of us like kids. We don't want the kids to need us in the first place. Like, fuck them. Like, get them. Like, keep. That's why I go to nightclubs and not like parks. I don't want to be near children. The fuck, it's just so annoying.
It's like they're pushing the wrong agenda. For what, really? Do you know what I mean?
They're deflecting things of their own issues. I think. I was just like, you should be looking at like gay people at these sort of things. You should be looking at places. The church, like where there's so much child abuse in the church, and it comes out every single year. It's just
totally agree.
And but they don't do anything like that because everything's kind of built on like this Christian countries, which I'm just like, fuck the people. I hate it.
It's like people use religion to their own benefit, like we talked about before, right?
But they only choose some parts of the Bible. They don't follow it all. Very annoying.
And plus, if you see in the Bible, let's say, people had multiple wives, and now they're pushing like only single parent. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, monogamy is the thing, but like, especially Christians, you should be married to one. But in the Bible, they had a lot of wives. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. And Jesus hung about with like prostitutes, people with issues and stuff like that. And I'm just like, so like, what part of this are we picking and choosing that we're going to follow? I love the fact you've got something to believe in. But like, I don't believe in that, so why would you push your agenda on me? Scotland's pretty liberating. A lot of people don't really care.
That's
kind of if they don't agree with it, but they're not going to push it in your face, being like, I don't like the fact that you're gay, or I don't like the fact that you're transgender. It's just like, Scotland's pretty good usually. Not saying it doesn't happen, but it's not as common. But I feel like Scotland's a lot more accepting of foreign people as well. Not saying that's always the case, because there's always some arsehole out there.
Of course.
I feel like it's a lot more of a welcoming country. Well, I don't think it's a country, but it's a lot more of a welcoming place of no matter where you're from. I think more of the younger generation coming from like millennials down to Gen Z, a lot of them are we're all more accepting of the fact that everybody's different, and we want everybody just to kind of get on. When you see people who are a bit older, they still have kind of those old views about things, and it's just like, have you got time to be that like rude and bigoted? Like, just shut up.
So about your sexuality, number one, when did you realize or decide or choose? You could elaborate on the thing about your sexuality, basically.
Like, I definitely never chose this. A lot of it was like, you kind of know. It's like, I could just imagine it would be for like people you like in girls. It's just that what feels normal to you. I was very fortunate when I came out. Like, I wasn't bullied, I wasn't harassed, but I was also like 6'1" or 185 centimeters. taller than everybody else, so nobody would have started anything anyway. So I was very, very fortunate to not have any sort of bad experiences, but I know a lot of people have horrific experiences as well. I've also said this as well, that if, say, I met a woman who just accepted me for who I was 100% of the time, no matter what, I'm not saying no. I love women, I respect women so much as well. I feel like they're very underrated in comparison.
Yeah. Going back to the question of dragging, do you have to be homosexual to do drag? I know you already answered it like kind of openly, but could you just explain it a little bit more in detail? And is there people who do drag who discriminate against people who's not, let's say, homosexual?
Sure. So anybody can do it. There is straight drag queens. There's one on RuPaul's Drag Race. There is loads, they're just not as common. I think probably the stigma they would get from their friends would probably put them off. And there is some people who do discriminate. People say female drag queens. So you do have like some females who dress as more exaggerated female, some like male drag queens. It gets very confusing. Discriminate against them because they're like, why are you doing drag? Like, you're already a female. It's just like, but it doesn't come down to being a female impersonator, it comes down to just art in that sense. And sometimes the women drag queens are better than the male drag queens 90% of the time. So there is, it's like everywhere, there's discrimination in everywhere. Majority of the people don't view it like that, but there is definitely some. But they're usually the people that nobody will continue to like as soon as those sort of views come out, because that's all like within the LGBTQ community. It's about being accepting of everybody, but not everybody's like that.
Right.
If everybody was like that, it would be too easy. So it's just anybody can do it. But it's more the fact that everybody should have a chance if they feel like no matter what sexuality you are, you should just be able to try it. I mean, why not? It's a good laugh.
Well said, thank you. What would you like to say to people who discriminate against homosexuality? Would it be because solely lack of education or lack of experience that they had? What would you like to say to them, and to give a little education or your personal thoughts?
I think a lot of it comes down from how they've been brought up, because nobody is brought up to be homophobic, nobody's brought up to be transphobic. It's something that's taught, whether that be from family, from friends, because I know for a fact that I didn't become born and then decided that I didn't like gay people. Like that, you need to learn that. That's not something that necessarily comes out naturally. Or people who follow a religion, it's like, that's fine if that's what your religion says and that's what you follow, but you can't push your religion onto somebody who does not follow that. So being gay might be against your religion, but to maybe like 90% of the public, it's not theirs. So like, why should I or anybody change because of your religion?
Right.
I'm not going to be at a point of disliking someone or thinking anything different of someone who does follow a religion. If they turn around and like their rights of worshipping their religion was getting taken away, like I'd fight for that. But it would never be reciprocated. So yeah.
Totally. It just gives people reasons to hate or be an extremist as well, right?
That's it. It's just like they're looking for a reason to dislike something that's different.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if you put more energy of that you're putting into hating people who are gay into something else, you'll probably be a lot more successful.
Yeah, true.
But right now you're currently on Reddit, speaking to somebody you don't know, like spewing just hate. And then it's like is it their life that is crap, and then they're just trying to express how shitty they feel by attacking other people?
Yeah.
Or is it just the fact that they don't get it? And there's like, but it's not a lot to get. Like, if it's not affecting you, why are you bothered? It's almost like that thing. It's just like, I don't mind gay people, but as long as they're not gay in public. But I can walk out on the street, especially not so much here, but in like Scotland or anywhere in the UK, and there'll be like a man and woman holding hands, a man and woman kissing, or a man and woman hugging. But it's like, if they're like, so you let that happen, but because it's two guys or two women, it's different. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your job, the requirement that you need to, be hired in your job, like the process, and do people see you differently when you open about your job compared to where you don't tell them about your job?
Sure. My job isn't necessarily a hard job to get into. There is just a lot of work, and not enough money. But usually if I tell people where I work or what I do, because it's like something like it's basically tax and people who have to pay tax and a lot of that kind of stuff, you do get a lot of people who are very against it because it is technically the government. So usually if you do say something like, oh, I work here, they'll be like, oh, well, I phoned up, I done this, and they're not helping me, and I'm just like, cool. Like, because it is so, usually somebody's moaning to me about it, 9 times out of 10 it's nothing to do with what I actually do, but they just see it as a whole job, and I'm just like, so they can be saying something to me, but like a singer talking to an actor about singing. Like they're under the entertainment umbrella, but their jobs are completely different. So sometimes you get people who are just like whatever, and then sometimes you get people who are just haters, which I mean it's fine. I mean they're entitled to be, they're entitled to hate it if they want. But the work is a struggle sometimes.
Would you say you probably get more negativity than positive or benefit from the
pretty
public?
much. A lot of people don't have a nice thing to say about where I work.
I see.
Mainly because they'll probably have had bad experiences. I'm not saying it's not like your kind of customer service job where you go into a shop where somebody's like overly nice to you or they're trying to sell you something. Usually if somebody's contacting us, they need something. So they either come through very, very nice and just genuine, or you get somebody who comes in and they are either like rude, sarcastic, swearing, shouting, crying. You kind of get like every single emotion, and it's like as much as it's one job, you have to be a therapist at the same time because you really need to bring people down. And like I do get it because I'm not like heartless. I understand if somebody's struggling and when life's hard, and especially over the past couple of years, like I do understand that it's not easy. But usually somebody comes through and speaks to me like shit. I'm not necessarily inclined to go out of my way to make things better, purely because like if you come through and be genuine, I can tell.
Right, okay.
If you come through and chat shit, I know. So it's just, I always just say like just be as honest as you can and everything like that, and everybody's more than happy to help. But it's the people who basically say about earlier how they'll be like, well, I phoned that up, I had an experience. I was like, but what were you like speaking to the person on the phone to make you have the bad experience? Yeah,
true. I personally had an experience as I was living in the UK that the work process is very slow, where in Korea it's very, very, very fast. And if it's not done fast enough, like you said, they get shit of letters or phone calls. And so the government, the country actually pushes the civil servants to work more faster to get the work done, and we have a system for that as well in Korea. Why is it so slow especially countries like Europe? And for example, passport, if you want to make a passport in Korea, you get it, but whereas in the UK or Scotland it takes a bit longer, right?
It definitely does. I'm not sure why, to be honest. I know every department's very different within the government. My department is quite laxed in that sense. Like we have our goals to hit, but sometimes there can be a backlog for unknown reasons. I know there's sometimes they shut down departments for a certain amount of time. I'm not sure why things take long, but I do understand that. Like I get that it is. Everything takes long for like no reason. It could be a lot quicker, but they just choose not to, maybe.
I think probably it's the funding as well.
Yeah, I think they're trying to cut back on a lot of things. My work, so my department, they're doing a not mass firing. It wasn't so much fired, like they were going through people, but they were basically saying like we had too many people by about, I think about a couple of thousand people, and they were trying to cut it down by like about 15,000 people, which 15,000 jobs is a lot of jobs. Nothing really came of it so much. Obviously people who were like retiring or close to retirement, they got spoken to and all that kind of stuff. But I think they're trying to expect more of people instead of more of one person than they would expect of multiple people. They're not going to bring more people in when there's people already doing it. So that's probably what will make things a bit slower. It's just that is strange. I didn't realise it was so fast here, but and yeah, it's just slow. If you're going anywhere on a holiday and your passport's expired, then you better book it a year in advance or something.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And for the last question, to wrap this up, what is your favorite color?
Pink.
If there is a song that you want to recommend, one song, what would it be?
Oh, Milkshake by Khalees.
Milkshake by Khalees. Thank you.